Hi class, we are doing notes on multiplying and dividing fractions. At this time you should have your review worksheet, and if you can, please have a highlighter, any color, and have another highlighter, a different color. You may share them or just use one. Okay, so the first problem, you need to model and solve the following. Number 1 is a multiplication problem. You should be using your multiplication fraction notes if you are not sure how to do this. The first step is to draw a grid. You're using the denominators 4 and 8, so it should be a 4 by 8 grid. Okay? So 4 by 8 means 4 this way and then 8 this way. So let's draw a grid first, and let's make it 4 by 8. Making 4, you use just 3 lines. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so you can see there's 4 now. Now you make 8. The way you make 8 is you split it into 7 parts. We can also just split it in half, and then split in half again on both sides. And then split these in half because there's 4 this way. So let's split these in half. So you can see this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's 8 this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, we just finished step 1. Step 2 is to shade the first numerator. So this is the first numerator. That's 1 out of 4. So since this is out of 4, 1 out of 4 means this whole top row. This is 1 out of 4. The next step, step 3, is to shade this part, the numerator of the second one. So this is 6 out of 8, which means you shade 6 out of the 8. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You should see here, they share, they collide, they intersect at these places where both highlighters meet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So the last step for multiplying fractions, you need to get the answer, the shared shaded, as the product. This is 6 shared spaces, so it's 6. And this grid is a 4 by 8. 4 by 8 means 32. This would be your final answer, but you need to reduce by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 32 divided by 2 goes into it one time, and then it goes in another time. 16. So it's 3 out of 16. And you should find that answer on the bottom. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, we need to divide fractions. You should find this in your notes as well. Remember, this means in 3/4, how many halves fit? So you need to talk to yourself. In 3/4, how many halves fit? We need to draw. First step is to draw 2 blank grids. There's 1 blank grid. And let's draw another blank grid. Okay. The first blank grid will be 3/4. So to represent 3/4, you need to split it in half, and you split it in half again to get 3/4. Now you have to shade the numerator of this. So you just show 3/4. The way you show 3 out of 4 is, okay, 1 out of 4, 2 out of 4, and 3 out of 4. So that's the first fraction right here. This is the first fraction. Okay. And now we're going to look for the second fraction. This one says half. We only need 1/2. So 1/2, we need to just take the second grid and split it in half, like that, and you shade half of it. So don't forget your question. It says in 3/4, how many 1/2 fit? Well, I know up here, this 1/2 can fit once, right there. So I know this is one whole time. Okay? Here, it can't fit. But if you look here, this piece would fit in this if there's half of the pink would fit into the blue if there's only half of it. So this would fit in this one, half. Half of the pink could fit in the blue, or half of 1/2 would fit in the 3/4. So the answer is, how many times can it fit? Well, it can fit 1.5 times. 1.5. Okay. Let's do number 3. Okay, back to our notes with multiplication. The first step is to actually draw a grid with the dimension 2. Sorry, this is 3 by 2. So draw a 3 by 2 grid, which looks like this. 3 and then 2. So this is going to be 3. So you can see 3 here, and now it's 2. So that's a 3 by 2. Okay, so we can't see this. We don't really understand this part right here, right now. What this is saying is 1.5. We need to remember this is 2/3 of 1.5. So we need to show 1.5, but 1.5, we could make it into an improper fraction to show what it means with grids. So we multiply this and add 2 times 1 plus 1 is 3. So this is actually 3/2. You can actually even just think of it as 3/2 if you want. So this is 3/2. Okay, so we want 2/3 of 3/2. So we need to shade in 3/2. This is, let's make this one pink. 3/2 means, okay, well here we have 1/2. Here's the second half. I need to draw another half, but I can't because there's not another grid. So I have to actually make another 3 by 2. So make another 3 by 2. And now we have our third half. This is half of something, this is another half, and this is another half. There are 3 halves. Okay. Here we have 2/3. 2/3. So you want 2/3 of 3/2. So I want only 2/3 of it. Since this is going down vertically by 3, I know this will be 2/3. So this is 1/3 and 2/3. This is only part of the actual picture of 3/2. So we need to actually shade this one too. We need 2 out of 3. Because this is 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3, and that's 3 out of 3. So we're shading just the top 2 out of 3. Okay. It's a little bit harder to see this one, but you can see that they collide here, they intersect here, or this is the shared space or shade. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 of these shared spaces, so that's 6 out of, well, this is out of a 3 by 2, so a 3 by 2 is 6. So this is 6 out of 6. That equals the same thing as 1. And another thing you can think about here is if you take these two pieces, take one of them, put it here, and the other one, you put it here, it would just be one whole piece. And that makes a lot of sense because that would be 6 out of 6, and that equals 1. Okay, let's go back to number 4. This is division. So look above, you can see here, let's read this. In 1 2/3, in 1 2/3, how many 1/3 fit? How many of these fit? So you have to ask yourself this. Okay, the first step in dividing fractions is drawing 2 blank grids. 1, 2. Okay, the first one you're supposed to draw here. The first fraction you're supposed to draw here. First fraction. Let's draw 1 2/3. This is hard because this example is supposed to be the second fraction that you are dividing. So you actually need to extend this and maybe draw another grid here to represent something that's 1 2/3. If you see this, this is only one whole piece. This is talking about one whole piece and 2/3 of another. So we need to draw one whole piece and 2/3. To split this in thirds, you need 2 marks. So 1, 2. And you need to do the same thing here. 1, and I'll just use this line since it's there. 2. Okay. First fraction, to show 1 2/3, which is the same thing as 5/3, you just have to shade in 5 of these thirds, because if you think about it, there are 3 thirds in this one, plus 2 more thirds. That's 5 thirds. Or just simply multiply and add. This is the same thing as 5 thirds. So 5 thirds. Let's make this one pink. So 5 1/3, this is 1 third, 2 thirds, 3 thirds, 4 thirds, 5 thirds, which is the same thing as one whole piece and 2 thirds. Okay, here we need to represent 1/3 for the bottom one. So let's split this one. Okay, split it with using 2 marks to show 3. And this only needs this bottom fraction, or this fraction, the second one, showed here, would just be 1/3. So now you read, okay, in 1 2/3, this is 1 2/3, how many 1/3 fit? Well, I know 1/3 can fit here once. I know 1/3 can fit here again. That's 2. I know it can fit here again. That's 3. And then here, it can meet there another one, 4, and then it can go again, 5. So you can see here that this 1/3 can fit in there 5 times. So the answer is just 5. Hola, I'm doing a lesson.
I'll come back later.
All right, thank you. That was custodian. Okay. Let's go to example number 5 now. Okay, now this one is multiplying fractions. So this is going to be a 5 by 3. Okay, so we need to represent a 5 by 3 by drawing 5. Let's try to make 5 here and then 3 somehow here. Just making this a little bit longer since I know it's going to be 5. This is going to be 3. Okay, so in order to show 5, I need to have 4 marks. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. To show 3, I need to have 2 marks. So